Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Hooray. Feels like forever since we've done a talking stream. This is quite something. I actually think we need to keep this. What does this need now? Book information and common info. Pattern and result. Output tag. How on earth did we do this before? Oh, we literally just added it. Something like that. Assemble requires crafting input. Pretty sure that works now, yep. Pretty sure result doesn't exist anymore. I've probably changed this as well. God, this is all pretty horrific. See, this has to change to item stack templates as well. Provided tag key required item stack template. I mean, that's hard because it's going to be empty. Pretty sure it can't be empty though. Yeah, I might have to rework how we do this. If we still want to do this. Trouble with Strainer specifically is basically it's been neglected. It's just like new stuff on top of all the old stuff. It's never really been like properly redone since probably when it was first made. Everything's a little bit all over the place. Let's do that. And yeah, this is where it's gonna get silly again because ingredients don't have tags anymore. I think that probably would have been better off just completely redoing this. Definitely don't need color handlers anymore. Definitely don't need these durations either. So much stuff you just don't need. We'll keep the fluids. Block entities, components, creative tabs will keep as well. Menus, menus. Happy Easter to everyone. For all those that are celebrating it. Strainer's recipes. This should have Strainer's recipes. Recipes provider. No, this is not the right one. We want this one. Then register both types and serializers. Common setup is doing nothing. That's for networking, so we might need that. And then we need to change this. Where is this class? Block entities, it's always in here. So that goes. then we just need that. Register the event, blah blah blah. We'll leave that like that, because obviously we haven't done the block yet. That'll be something like that. Okay, so that's at least that's a better way of starting. Still think there's a lot of stuff that we don't need here, but we'll get to that again. This changes fully. Single Wednesday implements menu provider. And that's that. Do think we are going to actually quite significantly change how the Strader works. I think we're going to make it use fluids. Thank you very much for the sub. Yeah, I think instead of having it in world, I think we'll have it in the machine. So I think that just makes it a bit cleaner to use. And then maybe have like a config where the fluid's actually consumed or not, maybe. Or just make the fluid last a certain amount of time. We definitely need data. Then we'll need classic max progress and normal progress. Give that a 0. So let's think how this is going to look. That's what it looks like at the minute. I don't think it's going to stay like that at all. Because I think we want something closer to what casting has. And then maybe we make a maybe we make the GUI a scrollable one as well, like the multi-block controller. Though in saying that, we might have enough space. I think if we just do, because a tank, if we do a tank, I only want to hold a small amount anyway. So we'd have a small tank. Yeah, you'd have a small tank for the fluid, then you'd have a mesh slot, and then you'd have a like input slot. And then you'd have the progress arrow. And then we could just have a bunch of outputs. Maybe some. Because I think the idea is going to be that the mesh will have like any of the upgrade sort of stuff that we're going to do on the mesh instead. So something like that might be okay. But the old one had 33 slots. It's only got 18. So it is possible we might have to look at a scroll output. How much custom stuff did we have to do for that? Dynamic input handler. I mean, 18. How many ores are there? Alright, aluminium, copper, iron, lead, nickel, platinum, silver, tin, titanium, tungsten, uranium, zinc. That's 12. Diamond, emerald, peridot, ruby, sapphire, coal, redstone, lapis, quartz, sulfur, prosperity. Yeah, that's more than 18, isn't it? Well, we go with that, and then we'll just work out, because I think the recipe's probably going to change anyway. So it means that in here now, we need input handler, an output handler, and a fluid handler. One of them. Need the just put that in there for a minute. And then we need a input fluid handler. And then this will just be a bucket's worth, I think. Which is 1,000. This, oh, size 1. Then we need the output handler. This is 18. So all of that goes. All of that goes. Cached recipe might need to stay. Maybe, maybe not. Strainer, blah blah, max progress. Turn 2. Yep, that's all fine. And then the tick method. And we're just going to do that because we need to change it. Get rid of all that. Literally get rid of all of this. Yep. Why do we need a fake player? Oh, the fake player might be to damage the mesh. Yeah, I guess we should do that. Just call it the strainer block entity. Okay, so next, let's do all of this. We don't need all of this. We need some of it. We might add it as a config later, the duration if we want. I think for the moment it's probably not needed. These are all for the menus and stuff, so we'll leave all that as well. And it'll be a strainer menu, and then it will be strainer. That will drop both inventories on when it's broken. Okay, now we need to do the fluid component properly. We are literally going to use the exact same thing as casting. Just do that. Oh, we need that component as well. Strainers, yeah, so this will now take, this is exactly the same as the casting one. So then back in here, we can do that. We just don't need those because it's not going to be like dependent on casting, so that's fine. I think that's like all the boilerplate stuff. Anything else we add now will just be to actually make it work, I think. And then that will make that work with that. And then that should be fine. Then that should be fine as well. And then just for the time being, we're just going to rip the data out, I think. And then let's see if we can launch. Tag recipes just need to go. To be fair, this... Because we don't want to commit to a recipe yet. Is this the menu? Yeah, this is the menu. We could do the menu now. I don't know why there was so much data there. It was only would have been 2. let's do the screen, because we should be able to, as much as we don't know the recipe, we should be able to actually set up the screen properly. We'll just use our one. So there's block entity level, container data, player, block position. And then in here, menu container, inventory, block position, menu size. So if we have so 1, 2 plus 18, 6, 12, 18, 19, 20. So we have 19 because you count 0. Don't need to add that. We do want to add a little loop. Actually, I think we want exactly this loop. And then we want to start at x6215. And then we want a result slot. Then we want the output handler. And that should add all the output slots. And then we want to do so we'll do the top slot as the item, so 833. And then the bottom one will be the mesh, will be on 51, index 1. And all of that goes. And we just need the data slots, which is fine. Is crafted is the same. Is scaled progress the same? Yes. And then everything else goes. That's much better. Then the screen. Shouldn't need that. I'll need the identifier. That's texture. don't do that anymore. Don't set the numbers in there. This will just be strain energy right now. Okay, and then it's the background method now. Progress bar. Which is that. Let's just use this one. And then we'll do that. Shouldn't need to do this tank separately. Because we should be able to use the actual tank rendering that we have for this. It's just going to be the stack, right? So it'll be whatever we use in the fluid collector. Oh no, we do have to do it like this. Do we? Yeah, maybe we do. We need that. And then we need that. And then this is going to be the input fluid. Slot 0. Just have it as empty. And then in the background, we want to do render tank. Now the position of this tank is 815. So that should technically be the menu. Need to change this as well. As a Minecraft modder, how revolutionary was the recent change to the code obfuscation in the most current version? Also love the mod packs. For me personally, it wasn't as big a change as you'd expect. Mainly because you already had like parchment, which basically made things readable anyway. They didn't make too much of a difference. Obviously, there's certain stuff that it does, but on the grand scheme of things, personally, I didn't notice it too much. And thanks for the kind comments. Okay, so this is going to change too. leave, literally just that. What is this? Tax. I think we can just do that. Because as I say, with the tax, the way the tax changed now, you can't do that. So it'd have to change what we're doing. Oh, we can actually set this up as well. So this is where you set up the like integration with pipes and stuff. So we need two here. So we need one for the items and one for the fluids. So it's one of them. So that should be that as well. Pretty sure we registered this, didn't we? What is this? No worries. We stream. You know, I don't mind answering questions. I don't really care. If I know the answer, I'll try and give an answer. Don't think we need this. Mesh chance result. We have definitely been guilty in the past of making things way too complicated for their own good. Could not start the virtual machine. Settings. Nope. Project structure. Java 25. Apply. Go. The BBL approach to resource generation is a lot more interesting, a lot more refreshing than the FTP style, which have been playing for well over a decade at this point. Inboard recipes. Yeah, thank you. I do try and make the packs different every time, like in terms of getting resources. Obviously, some packs use like strainers and stuff, but yeah, it's nice to make that up every now and again. We have a pretty cool idea for the next main pack. After Fractured, I should say. And I think that would be pretty cool if I could get it to work. Where is this entity? There. Hey, welcome. Yeah, I do like Brewers. Not registered to third register on more than one event bus. What on earth? Oh, I see. Don't register your recipes twice.
Press enter to enable the narrator.
What are the chances that the strainer actually gets placed without crashing? Couldn't even open a create menu without crashing. Definitely the create menu that crashed, right? Trying to access unbound value, strainer's stone pebble. How are you doing? I'm doing well. How are you? Yeah, I think that was the idea with Submerged 2 was to... So we've had feedback before where... how do I explain it? Like, basically... like systems that you create early on becoming redundant too quickly, if that makes sense. So the idea with Submerge was to make it so that initial system that you had, you just added on to, so you just kind of upgrade the further down the pack you go. Which is why I had to be careful with Resource Fish. I didn't want Resource Fish to just replace absolutely everything. Why did that crash on the creative tab? Why do we not have stone pebbles? Register simple item. Oh, we've for real not registered items. That'll do it. So what have we learned so far? Don't double register your recipes and don't not register your items. That's good to hear, though. It's good to hear that the feedback, well, the previous feedback we've taken on and actually made an improvement to. Fractured is slightly different in terms of that, but you create a new like way of doing resources in that. Look at all these non-textured items. First time. Didn't like that either. What did we do there? I think I messed up the handler. I think that should probably work. I tried to say Techopolis, but after setting up an infinite charcoal farm, lost the desire to play due to early game mining. Techopolis 3. Oh, I kind of remember the first one. First one was so long ago. Last update for that was 2022. Almost 4 years ago. 4 years ago. Techopolis 2-2. I can't really remember that one either. Was that the You didn't really have anything unlocked though, did you, in the first in Techopolis 2? I don't think. I think Techopolis 3 did it better the early game. Plus, I think Techopolis 3 is the most successful. 381,000 downloads. Which, what was Techopolis 2? 326,000. So yeah, it did that. It's beaten Techopolis 2. Techopolis 2 was really, really popular. Okay, so first things first. Pretty sure we need to move this entire inventory down. I think we're probably a pixel too high. Oh, it might even be another down. Well, this is for 26 dot whatever this is, 1.1. Okay, it's not going to restart the texture for some bizarre reason, so... Oh, I know why. Yeah, so it's mainly a port. With there will be, to be fair, there will be some big changes because if you've played or haven't played or looked at any of the new stuff, the kind of idea of upgrades have kind of gone to some degree anyway. That is also perfect. So we just need to move the menu down. Yeah, so the idea of like not all upgrades, but for specifically speed upgrades, I don't want there to be like a speed upgrade item. For one, I think it's quite boring. Like just throw in an upgrade, make it faster. It just seems a bit boring. So in Klosh now, there's a mutation upgrade. So the more you use a seed, it mutates and gets better. Did I just do that the wrong way around? Okay. So the idea being that with the mutation upgrade, every cycle has a chance to either boost the speed or boost the drops. I've never ever, apart from Desertopolis, I've never touched Resource Chicken, so I have no idea if it does something like that. So that was the... I think there are like still like speed upgrades and stuff in that, but not to the level that the mutation upgrade can do. It just means that you get rewarded for playing longer, I guess. And we can test our buckets as well, hopefully now. Didn't work. Why didn't that work? Strainer block. Oh, I see. It should work. And that's a bit too high as well. Screen. Change both to 17. Yeah, I guess then it is kind of like that. I was actually in two minds of doing a crop breeder machine as well, which may still come. It's on the list. So you can combine like crops together. But I have a way. I think I have a way of doing it. It's just whether that way is going to be like insanely OP. But I think a lot of these mods now it's mainly it's a weird one because obviously since I started doing this full time, we haven't had a like an actual major Minecraft update cycle. So it's weird being in a position where we actually have a lot of my mods already ready to go for the latest version, but we're waiting for a lot of like high profile mods. So there's no FTB stuff yet, and there's no Cube.js as far as I know. We can't actually actively start like working on the next mainstream pack until we have those tools, which will work out quite nice because we've still got Fractured to go out for 1.21.1 anyway. So there shouldn't actually be a gap between the packs, which should be quite good. But the idea is to reduce the amount of packs that we're doing a year. Like mainstream packs anyway. Last year was 7 or 8, I think. But we haven't released, apart from the Opolis Plus one, but that isn't a mainstream pack. Or a mainline pack, I should say. Like, I want to focus on doing... So that the whole philosophy was a big mod pack into a smaller, into a big, into a small. That's the kind of the idea. So you had Techopolis 3, which was big. Farmopolis small, I think. And then Contained was big or small. And then Submerged 2 was big. So Fractured is on the smaller side, but it's not really a small spider pack. But the idea was to have a major pack, minor pack, major pack, minor pack. But I think I'd rather do more major packs. So you're getting a lot more content in them. So like the level of Submerged and Techopolis 3 kind of thing. And to be fair, Farmopolis actually has quite a bit of content. But I want to work on stuff like that. But there will be... So Opolis Plus is already out. And then soon... it will be Opolis 26, which will be just basically a mods kitchen sink style of all the like newer mods that have come out of a 26.1, mainly for testing. But I think it's good if people can see them as well. You can get an idea of what mods we want to see in actual packs. And then it's Fractured. As I say, the problem with Fractured is purely testing capabilities at the minute. Because it is actually fully, on terms of quests, it's fully done. It's literally just waiting for people to get to that point in the quests, really. But that's kind of down to me, because I think Fractured originally was going to be scheduled for the 26.1. And then we've brought it forward a bit. Right, so this will be the mesh. Oh no, this will be the item and this is the mesh. Yeah, it's good. Fractured is good. There's a lot of different mechanics in it. Obviously, it's really focused on immersive engineering. But it's definitely one of the main mods of immersive engineering. But the pools mod that we have is really good. And there's the immersive petroleum mod as well, which is quite good. Like for example, one of the things we've just found is fixed now. Basically, there was an issue with all the ores, and it was, I can't remember the exact amounts, but every Audior's recipe for immersive engineering was using like 500,000 RF instead of 2,000, and that was only recently found. So if you're doing a skyblock, so the idea is that you have, the idea now of strainers like that you can basically get everything just from a. So right at the beginning, you're going to have logs, which means you have planks, which means you have sticks. And then I think we probably want to reduce the amount of meshes that we've got. So we probably just want to kind of follow the vanilla tiers now. So it'd be like wood into flint, into copper, into iron, into gold, into diamond, into emerald, into netherite. So I think we'll just go down to 8 tiers. Which means you have ladders. So true, yeah, we have ladders. So I think that will probably be the tier system. So we'll have a wooden mesh, a flint mesh, a copper mesh, iron mesh, gold mesh, diamond mesh, emerald mesh, and netherite mesh. I'm pretty sure we have all those textures. So do they need to be anything special? Do they need to be anything special? Probably not. We can literally just do them as simple items, I think. Meshes. And gold, diamond, emerald. Like that. So then the idea is that the tier before is how you unlock the tier that you're on, isn't it? So the copper ore piece would come from a flint mesh. Now the question is, in terms of recipes, how is this going to work? Because obviously we want to we want the boost. We've got two options. We either make this is what I always found hard with strainers specifically, because you could either do the recipe would be the input with the mesh and then just a list with a bunch of outputs, or it would be an output. So an input, mesh, and an output, and then a recipe for every output, which I think is probably the better way of doing it, because then it means you can add support for other mods more easily. So we'll need a... So what do we actually need for this recipe? So we'll need... Where is the recipe? Well, the copper mesh would come from... So you'd use something with a flint mesh to get copper ore piece, which would be this. And then the ore piece you craft into ore, and then you get copper. And then the copper you use to get iron ore pieces, and so on. With the other like resources scattered in between. As long as this main progression route works, doesn't really matter where anything else goes. I don't want like, I think we had something like 20 stack meshes before. 8 is plenty. This whole recipe thing is going to change. So we're going to need a need to be a sized ingredient. I guess we could just do it as size ingredient, and if people want to use it different, then they can. This will be the input. Sized ingredient again for mesh. On a fluid ingredient. I suppose the other thing is, do we actually want it to consume fluids or not? I don't think we do, purely based on the fact that it didn't before. So I don't think we need it to do it now. So we could just do fluid ingredient, I guess. And then we want a... So what we've got? So we've got the ingredient in, we've got the mesh, then we've got the fluid that it needs, and then we need a chance result. And then I guess we want... See, I don't want to add... So for example, if this first mesh, the wooden mesh, actually, let's think of the netherite mesh. No. Let's think of copper ore piece. So you can get it from a flint mesh, but you'll be able to get it from the copper, the iron, the gold, the diamond. You'll be able to get it from all of them. So I don't particularly want to add 7 recipes for each of them. So how did we do it before? What is this? Strainer, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I see. We did, oh, we actually specified for each mesh. Guess that kind of makes sense. So you have to define every mesh. I don't know if I like that. What do you think? Do you think that's the best way of doing it? Defining every single mesh inside a recipe? Or to one mesh. So what? Add like 8 recipes per one thing. Oh, I won't be writing them out. I'll be data generating them. It doesn't matter. So you're actually saying then that we should do... This could get messy though. This could get silly because you think every ore piece... Say that it had 4 meshes that it was valid with. That's 4 times like all these. There's 18 there straight away. And that's just for all recipes. True, but you still need to get to the 8th mesh. Because you don't want it to just be copper from flint only. Because that feels bad. You want the... I think the idea is you want the better the meshes, the better chances, right? Which is how it was before. Maybe we actually do want to do it how we did it before then. Maybe past Ben was onto something. So we used mesh chance result. So we passed in a mesh ingredient and then a chance result. And then in data gen, yeah, data gen was just like one line. With conditions, blah, 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 blah. Create mesh chance result list. And then the mesh chance result list basically just added X amount per tier. Unless we just did a double. Additional chance per tier. So then if you put in a tier 1 mesh, put in a tier 6 mesh and the recipe only needs tier 2, then it calculates that difference. So it would be like a +4 difference times by the additional chance, maybe? Maybe that's the best way of doing it. Hey, welcome, welcome. About to auto-publish mod workflow run. Well, that's not ideal, is it? I think we do this. I think we do the additional chance. I think that's probably the best way. And that's basically the system we had before, but just not as configurable, which I don't think is a problem because 90% of the recipes would just add in the same chance every time anyway. Right, so now we need to mess around a stupid codex again. Because I don't think we can use really any of this. Map codec. And then we have, let's see if that's remotely right. Size ingredient, so input mesh, fluid, transfer result, yes. Field of additional transfer tier. That's actually correct. I could submerge exactly like submerged, yeah. It would just be a different way of the recipe being wrote. Which it's all got to change the recipes anyway because of the way that vanilla changed everything again. Read and write. I have never, ever considered Project E type packs. I have used Project E in a pack, but never like fully to be based around it. I really don't look forward to porting my stuff to 26.1. What have you actually got for 26.1 though? Just the connector and the stick mod. No, I mean like from 1.21. Honestly, you'll be fine. I really don't think there's many changes that would affect. I don't know how you do it in your mods anyway, but I don't think there'll be many changes that affect the way it works for you. Unless you're doing anything that's data driven, because the fact that you can't create an ingredient anymore from a tag is horrific. It really, really sucks. Screens are different, but they're not as different as you think. It's just a lot of renaming. Basically this. So you'd use this now, GUI graphics extractor, instead of GUI graphics. But it's just a rename. Extract background. Oh, what was it before? Render BG? It's not that anymore, it's now extract background. Blight Sprite, and it's just stuff like that. It's not too hard. I mean, I actually made better menus now, like with routers especially. I don't know if you've seen any of the new stuff. What's the best mod to show in? Probably casting, to be fair. Let me show you. Close this for a minute. What is this one? This is utilities. So I've got all this now, custom GUI, JUI, like rendering and stuff like this. Obviously, JUI stuff's fine. This now, the item collector, which has like a lot of configurable options, which will work. Same with the clock. Obviously, fluid tank rendering, which is part of core. So you literally just we literally use it here. This is slightly more complicated because I had to render the tooltip separately. But all of this is handled inside core. It just renders fluids for you. The other cool one is filtering. So I've actually moved the whole filtering into core as well. You can filter fluids. Because with the fluid collector, if you want to collect a certain fluid, you want to collect a certain fluid. So you can do like that, obviously works. But you can also drag from JUI. Which again, this entire filter stuff is an API built into core. Which means, because it's all in one home place, that when you build like multi-block structures and you want to do the same sort of thing, you just implement that and it's done. Filter fluids for solidifiers in about one line of code. And then the exporter now, so every like module, but I say module, every resource is like a module add-on. So I don't know, energy. You get a little energy symbol. Eventually it will show you how much it's like transferring out. And then obviously fluids. And then you get a whole fluid filter system, which again is driven by core. Which means you can do that. And that. And it still works. Is that related to one? Everything you see right now is on 26.1. Everything. And then the stack 70 items as well. Yeah, it's everything's on 26.1. That was the main point of so I had core before, but I didn't have as many like shared classes, I guess, now. But I think going forward, anything that I use anything basically that adds a block entity now, I think I'm going to have to depend on core for. Mainly to make it just so I don't have to repeat so much of the same code. But so other mods, so I think Flightbox now, I just literally done Flightbox earlier. We've taken out core as a dependency for it. So the bigger mods will still depend on it, but the smaller mods won't. I think that's the best way of doing it. I don't mind copying the odd class here and there over, but when it's like, especially stuff like casting, where there's so many like common methods, like for everything for the screen is just driven by core now, everything. And the handler system. Like the whole fluid filtering and stuff all depends on like custom handlers that I added to core. That's basically what I'm saying now. Anything that's through, like, I can show you like a menu class. Like, where is it? So this is the Strainer menu class. That is it. 73 lines. And all you have to do is set the menu size here. And then in this main class again from core, it sets up the quick move in. So that's the shift clicking. It adds the still valid check, which we just allow it to always be valid. It adds the player inventory, and it adds the player hop. So you never have to touch like any of that, unless you need to override it for something very specific. This has been why I was able to update so many mods so quickly. Because once core's updated, 90% of the hard work of it is done. Like, so we have core utilities, no fog please, invisible lights, flight blocks, cloche, in-world recipes, casting multi-blocks, casting tools, and then strainers will all be on 26.1, and routers. And then a lot of the other mods are just like add-ons. So actually, I think Roomopolis is done as well. And BBL Portals is done as well. But I don't think Portals needs core. But yeah, that's the philosophy going forward. So smaller mods, or mods that don't really do anything with screens, will not need core. Anything else probably will. Yeah, I say I didn't actually, the UI stuff I didn't actually find too bad. The biggest pain I've had is recipes. Because recipes are just, they're horrible to do anyway, but even more horrible now. So we need to do the type. We need that. And that. Does it mean I can't use those in tags as well? What, recipes for tags? You can. It's just annoying. Okay, so ingredient before, right? Size ingredient. So ingredient before, you used to be able to do ingredient.of. So you had like item stack, you had of item, and then you had of tag. So you could literally, so if your recipe wanted to use planks, you could just do planks. Ingredient of planks, yeah, easy. Or if you wanted to use size ingredient, new size ingredient, ingredient of planks, blah blah blah, right? That's not possible anymore. But now, it's just silly. I just don't get why they changed it. But now, to do a tag, where is it? There you go. You have to pass this tag parameter first, which does that. So this gives you the somewhat the ingredient of the tag, but you cannot use this outside of a recipe builder, which is just ridiculous. So if you're you can test against ingredients, but you can't like create an ingredient. As far as I can tell, there might be a way of doing it, but I haven't found it. If you can. So I made a custom loader for my modifier stuff. Here. So I have had to separate out the ingredient here into a string, and then I have to rebuild it when it gets queried. Because I just cannot work out how you can add it as a sized ingredient in a JSON. Like, if it's not part of that recipe builder. As I say, there's probably a reason for it, but I just can't work out why they've done it. It just makes everything... Like, tags were meant to be an answer to make things easier. And now they're just so hard to use. But in terms of your mod, you should be fine, because you should still be able to query it exactly the same way you're doing it now. I don't know if you're using the test one or whatever you're using, but I know you use tags, right? Read and write. So ingredient, fluid ingredient. Sure, we might as well just use sized ingredient. There's no real difference. And then we have the chance result. How do I do this? Stream codec. Oh, this does have a stream codec, does it? Another good one with recipes, actually, thinking about it, is the fact that the client no longer has any record of any recipe. That's a good one. The client literally only gets recipes from the server now. Which I think is why JEI is no longer client-side. I think you have to have it on both sides now. Chance results.read. And that's how you do chance result. And then we just need a double, which is the chance tier. It's not an optional. Yeah, that's fine. right. It's basically the same. Slide size, fluid size, recipe result, blah blah, right double, yep. Match it method. We'll just return true because I think we're going to handle all that logic on the strainer. Then all this goes. And gets replaced with that. Obviously we don't have an output, we have a result. Result dot template. New item set topic. Oh, okay. Yeah. Template has private access. Yeah, there we go. But even like item stacks changed as well. Like you can't actually use item stacks in recipes anymore. Has to be template. That should be the recipe class. And then this changes to that. And it should just load. Probably error out a bunch of recipes because none of them are going to work, but Did it error? Oh my god, look at all these errors. Simple JSON reload list that could not pass data. Strainers, purified dirt underscore / oak saplings. From strainers, recipe strainer, purified dirt, dark oak sapling.json. No additional chance per tier in map like. Not ideal. Actually, I just realised I didn't add damage, did we, to these strains? To the meshes. Yeah, we need to add durabilities here. Which should be relatively easy. This is not what you do. Register item. It is what you do. What is a durability? Durability. Funny enough. That's another strange inconsistency. That to build an item builder is durability, and then when you actually want to check the component, it's max damage. Okay, so then we want to actually like. See, this is where it's going to get complicated. think we're probably going to wrap it up there because I need to work out what is the best way of actually building a system for this to make it like actually scalable with other recipes. So I think we'll call it there for today. Is there anybody streaming? Let's raid Button. We haven't done Button in a while. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. And I will be back tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you later.